Business managers love looking at comparative data, whether it's different areas over the same time period or a year-over-year comparison of the same location. Comparing data points can quickly give some powerful insight into the health of an organization and the overall trends. In this chapter, we're going to construct a reporting tool that compares various data points and allows the end user to define the parameters of the report. By hooking several of Access's objects together, we can create a dynamic tool for generating an infinite number of reports based on the needs of an individual user. Let's take a quick look at how the completed system will work. From the main menu, I'm going to go into the Reports screen. And from here, I have a new button called Sales by Division. I'll go ahead and choose that, and that'll give me the opportunity to input some criteria. Let's take a look at a year-over-year analysis of one of our divisions. I'm going to take a look at the South Atlantic states in 2013 and compare them to the South Atlantic states in 2012. I'll go ahead and press this Preview Report button here to see the completed report. I can see on the report, if I scroll in, I can see the Sales by Division Comparison is the title of the report. The South Atlantic states are the ones we're looking at. And in 2012, I can see the various states and how much their sales contributed to our bottom line. And in 2013, I can see the same states and how they differ. So with a couple of mouse clicks, I'm able to get some very specific information and make some targeted observations about the performance of our business. But what's really going on here, and how does this work? Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Now, to the end user, it looks like a pretty seamless procedure. We open up a form and enter in some criteria. Then we press the Preview button, and that generates a report. But in the background, there's actually a whole chain of events happening in order to generate the report. When the user presses that Preview button, what really happens is that the report starts to open, but it doesn't complete. The report takes a look at its record source and sees that it needs to get information from a query. So the report asks the query, what data am I going to be displaying? The query then runs and it starts generating records based off of its design and pulls information out of the data tables. At some point though, the query sees that it has some criteria that it needs to filter by, but it doesn't know exactly what those criteria are. The query criteria are going to reference the values that the user selected back in the form. So the query asks the form, what are those criteria? The form then responds back to the query, and it gives it the criteria that it needs. Once the query has the criteria that it needs from the form, it can pass all of that data back into the report. Finally, the report now has the data that it needs to generate the finished report by formatting all the values based off of our design. Once that is done, that all gets passed back to the end user. So what appears to the end user to be a single action, press a button and get the report, is really a series of steps that is handled internally by Access. Over the next several movies, we'll build and hook all of these pieces together, starting with the form.